and welcome to this module, which is all about a particular sort of positive mental attitude. It's not actually about positive mental attitude as a good thing in itself. It's actually about looking at how do we create a positive mental attitude more often than not. And when it goes wrong, what is causing a non-positive mental attitude? One of the areas I want to take you through is the fact that most of the time we're operating at perhaps an 8 out of 10 in terms of the level of energy that we're creating. And if there's a difference, it tends to vary between, let's say, a sort of 4 or 5 out of 10 up to a 9. Occasionally we hit a 10 out of 10. A bit like Spinal Tap, and I'm afraid that this analogy shows my age a little, I want to talk to you about turning it up to 11. There are so many cases when we go through life and we forget to become aware of how we're actually behaving in front of other people, how we're interacting with other people, and when we do that, we don't come across as well as we possibly could. So I want to talk you through this idea of turning yourself up to 11, or to update the analogy a little bit, turning yourself into the Barocca you. You, but on a really great day. A lot of stuff that's talked about in terms of positive mental attitude is actually talked about in terms of pretending to be something that you're not. People talk about the physical gestures that you use, the way you stand, what you do with your body, how you project your voice. And the reality is we're all very, very different. There are people who can present a very, very positive attitude to other people in quite a low key, quite a calm fashion. There are other people who need to wave their arms about and be quite dramatic in their approach to get that level of energy across. There isn't a right or wrong with those. That's why I call it turning yourself up to 11, or you but on a good day, you but on a great day. The idea is, how can you still be yourself, but just the best you that you can be? There are 3 steps to going through this, and the first of these is actually to go through some self-analysis. When you're in a training environment, when you're listening to modules like this, that's when we do thinking about ourselves. We can get the opportunity to look inwards and actually think, how am I coming across? What am I doing? Where are my hands? What is my voice doing? But then we go out into the real world and we start to interact with people and we forget to think about what we're doing because we're busy. We're actually doing the thing and not thinking about how we're doing the thing. What we need to do, and not every time because it's terminally exhausting if you're going to do it every single time, is to take some of those occasions and actually do a little bit of reflection. Come out of a particular interaction that you've had with another person and think, how did I come across to them? Actually think, what was my voice sounding like? What was I looking like? What was my body language while I was going through it? And was that the best that it could be? Was it the best version of me that I'm capable of being? Take a bit of time for that analysis and see how well you can correlate it with the results that you get. And you will find that actually when you are turned up to a 9 or a 10 or a full Spinal Tap 11, you're going to get better results. Once you've done that analysis though, it's really important to start to identify what causes you to sometimes be at a 5 or a 6 versus sometimes being at a 10 or an 11. And it's about spotting the differences between those 2 areas. Are you actually being a dolphin springing out of the sea, smooth and easy? Or are you trying to do it as a cow leaping out of the sea, where you're just going to do a belly flop, land painfully and sink to the bottom? Those differences are often caused by factors outside our control. But we only call them factors outside our control because we think they are. We allow ourselves to be controlled by the external environment. Those sort of things can change. And the change is how we perceive that external environment. There's another module on this program about looking at how we respond to other people and take control of that. But for the purpose of this, just think about the fact that sometimes you go down through a successful path and sometimes it's an unsuccessful path. Try and work out what the differences are between those and identify them and get really clear and specific on what they are. The third and final thing is to think about what is the trigger. What is the flick that sends the dominoes cascading in one direction or another? At some point, subconsciously in most cases, you will have decided how you are going to behave. There will be some thought that goes on, some memory that you are recalling that says, in this case, it's going to be bad and therefore everything is going to be bad because you don't turn yourself up to 11. You don't become you on a great day. Try and have more of those experiences and identify what those triggers are that flick the dominoes down that say, this is going to be good. Go into it with that positive mindset. Change the way that you are starting the process, and everything else stands a far better chance of following in the direction that you want it to go. Thank you very much for listening to this module. What I'd like you to do next, as usual, is to go through to the TD Academy website, log in there and download a very simple document which has got some questions for you about identifying those triggers, spotting the differences between when things are going to go successfully and when they're not going to go successfully, and working out how you can transform it so that you can have more of those days where you are the best you that you can be.